So just in regards to Lent, we started Lent today with Ash Wednesday, and just a little, a few facts about Lent, and also an observation that I had this morning. So, first of all, Lent, 40 days, right? Preparation for Easter, the 40 days that Jesus spent in the desert preparing for his ministry, right? And the ministry with the climax of the Easter mystery, right? The Paschal mystery, right? The death, resurrection, ascension into heaven. So those are the 40 days. It starts with Ash Wednesday. Just FYI, Ash Wednesday, that's actually not a day of obligation. Many people do believe that it is, and you see our churches packed, which is not a bad thing. But sadly, many of us go to Ash Wednesday and we actually lack to go to Sunday Mass, which is actually an obligation. Not only that, but a blessing to be there, to be with Him and to celebrate His resurrection and the gift that He gives us. So that ashes are not made of, some people think that are like dead animals or people. They're actually made from the palms from the previous year, and that we use in Palm Sunday, that we're blessed. So that's what we use. It's a symbol of mortality, so reminding us that we come from nothing and will become kind of nothing physically, right, until Jesus comes a second time and we resurrect with Him. Another thing that we should know is that there are 2 days the church requires us to fast, and that is Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, which is the Friday before we celebrate Easter. And this is for people who are 18 to 59 years old. Unless you have a medical condition. Now, if you're younger or older, you're welcome to join us. And this is a way to discipline our bodies and also, have that habitual self-control, being able to have our spirit be strong and our desires in a way. And we also offer as a sacrifice. The other thing that we do is we have abstinence every Friday. Abstinence of meat. That means that we don't eat meat Fridays as a sacrifice. And also, if you look back in the history of the Jewish, right, meat was something expensive, like the luxuries, right? So you're giving that up as well, and just in remembrance of the sacrifice that Jesus did for us on that Good Friday, where He, crucified. Well, He was crucified for us to destroy our sins. So that is that. Another fact that we should know, and maybe you count on your calendar. So if you count from the beginning of Lent, which is Ash Wednesday, all the way to Easter, there's actually 46 days. And this is because we don't count we do not include, so we don't count Sundays, because Sunday is the day that our Lord resurrected. So that's a celebration, right? So we don't have that spirit of penance in that day. And so it starts on Ash Wednesday, so that's 1, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so that's 4, and then 6 weeks before Easter, which is 6 times 6, Monday through Saturday, so that's 36 plus 4, which makes 40. Another thing that we should know is, which I think is amazing, is, I don't know if you noticed, but Easter starts on a different date, like every single year, or most of the years. Like Christmas, like we celebrate the 25th of December every single year, and it is because Easter is kind of figured out by looking at the calendar of the full moon. So the first Paschal full moon, the Sunday after that, that's Easter. So then we come back the 40 days plus beginning of Ash Wednesday, which makes it kind of like 46, to get to Easter, which I think is amazing. That goes back to the Jewish tradition, but we're not going to go into that. So those are things that I think are really important. Also, we are called to deepen our prayer, our intimacy with God, to do fasting. And again, fasting is only food. Maybe, you have a bad habit of saying bad words, or maybe being lazy. So can you do a little bit more, like maybe you don't want to do your homework, so maybe doing homework without being told like 20 times. Or maybe, we have issues with our attitudes or whatever it is, or forgiving, we can be fasting of those things as well. Maybe we're self-centered. Maybe you want to be fasting from social media or electronics that are taking a lot of your time and you're not using your time productively. So those are things that we can also fast from. And almsgiving, right? So we give to the needy, especially. I mean, if you think about it, our church is in a way needed, and it's our family. And we are the ones that are supposed to support it, just like your parents or you as parents support your family. So that's one thing. And also people, that are hungry, charity, that they need some clothing, whatever it is, we are called to deepen our almsgiving in that sense during Lent. And this is a preparation for the rest of our life, not only 40 days. Because what good is it for me to fast for, from chocolate for 40 days so I can lose weight, and then after that I stuff myself with chocolate? That doesn't make sense at all. So those are things that the church asks us to do. And just a quick observation from today. So in Mass, you see a bunch of people, and it is not bad. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being there and remembering that it's Ash Wednesday. If I didn't go to Mass every Sunday, I probably wouldn't know when Ash Wednesday was and when Lent was starting. But so I see a lot of people, big old crowd in there, and trying, in Mass, receiving ashes, which is great. It's just that sometimes I think that we don't know what we're missing, so it's okay to get ashes again. It's more of a sacramental, so receiving ashes is great. But then I see how many people start leaving the church, in a fast manner. So quickly going to get ashes and then quickly getting out after getting ashes. And then I'm like, wait, consecration hasn't even happened. So when the piece of bread become, and the wine become the body and blood of Christ, hasn't happened yet and you're already leaving. So in my heart, I'm like, ow, heartache. Because for me, it's like, and again, it's because I know and thank God you're not being informed. Trading, the diamond for a little piece of, like a pebble, right? And again, ashes are not body sacramental, but I'm trading the sacramental for the sacrament, for Jesus himself, who becomes, present in the Eucharist for me to become one with me. So sadly, I see this a lot, in our church, and many times we're not informed. So just FYI, Sunday masses are an obligation because we're giving back that 1 hour to worship him for all that time that he gave us in just that 1 week, right? And it's also a blessing to be able to say, yes, I believe that you are present here and that you're going to become one with me, that you love me so much that you not only want to be with me spiritually, but also physically through the Eucharist. So don't miss out. Ashes are important, but I invite you and I exhort you to deepen your faith and know that he is there for you. So don't miss out on receiving him, being ready to receive him in the Eucharist. So if you are, if you grew up Catholic, but maybe you're not there spiritually, or maybe you haven't really had that encounter with him, or maybe you have questions about our church and why we teach this and why is it that way, I invite you to to find answers, to look for answers and look for the truth, and especially to live out the sacraments. Again, an invitation, to not let go of him, because again, please do not trade the pebble, the diamond for the pebble. Jesus is a big old diamond that he's waiting for you. And, and sometimes we trade him for a little pebble, which is not bad, but why would you trade that, Or why don't you have both, right? So my ashes, yes, important for me to remind myself that I'm mortal, but, Jesus himself, who is divine and who's God and becomes one with me when I receive him. So just an invitation to live out your Lent, this 40 days of Lent, to be ready for Easter, and not only for that, but also when he calls us to his presence. God bless you, Lenten blessings, and pass it on, again, praying for you that we live a fruitful Lenten season to be ready for this Easter and for the time that we're called to his presence.